Hi guys, I'm Takira. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to just make a video about natural hair growth tips because people ask me, a lot how I got my hair to grow so fast. I just wanted to come and discuss that with you guys. Okay, so it's not that my hair grew fast. My hair grew about a ½ an inch a month. The most important thing with hair growth is retaining length. And that's what people need to focus on more so than trying to make their hair grow fast, because your hair is going to grow, at whatever rate it grows at. And I don't know if there's an actual way that you can actually speed up the process of hair growth. So the first thing I would say would be to pay attention to your hair. And what I mean by this is do what's best for your hair. Don't really focus so much on what other people do to their hair, because something that might work for your hair may not work for somebody else, or vice versa. So I say pay attention to your hair. Your hair lets you know everything that you need to know about it. If it's feeling dry, you can tell that it's dry. Make sure you're keeping it moisturized. If you need your ends trimmed, they'll tell you. They'll start feeling dry, splitting, single strand knots. Your hair tells you everything you need to know, so pay attention to your hair. Next tip I have would be to deep condition weekly. This is something that I've pretty much done ever since I big chopped my hair. And I think it's a very important step with natural hair, because you want to make sure you're keeping your hair moisturized. So I would deep condition weekly. And the deep conditioner that I like to use right now, it's my favorite moisturizing deep conditioner, is the Thank God It's Natural Honey Miracle Mask. And I also shampoo my hair weekly. I know some people co-wash instead of shampooing, but like I said, you have to pay attention to what your hair likes. And when I was trying to co-wash every week and not shampoo and stuff like that, my hair had an adverse effect and it started feeling dry rather than feeling moisturized. So I shampoo every week and I co-wash if my hair is feeling dry midweek or something like that. Either that, or if I want my hair to be fresh before it's time for wash day, I'll co-wash then. But other than that, I don't really co-wash. I do shampoo weekly and I deep condition weekly. My next tip would be low manipulation. And what I mean by this is pretty much don't really touch your hair that much. Once I do my hair for the week, whether it's a wash and go or whatever, I don't really just tamper with my hair. I let it be. And normally I don't detangle until wash day. So just let your hair be free. And if that involves you having to do protective styles, then so be it. I protective styled when I first big chopped. And of course that's a way for you not to touch your hair. I did sew-ins with closures. I attempted to do twists, but I only had them in for 1 week because I had an interview the next week. But yeah, just stuff like that. You just want to keep your hands out of your head and just let it be, because that can cause breakage and then it can cause your hair to be dry. It's best to leave your hair alone. And other protective styles are actually just natural hairstyles. You can do buns or stuff that you don't have to touch over and over again. Your hair benefits and it grows, and it's best for length retention if you're not touching in your hair all the time. So low manipulation definitely is another tip that I say you guys should focus on. This is a tip that most naturals know, so I'm just gonna say it anyway. We should all know this one, but make sure when you're detangling your hair, you're detangling from the ends and then working your way up to the roots. And I personally prefer to detangle my hair while it's wet and while I have conditioner in it, because it's easier for me that way. I feel like there's no way I'm not detangling dry hair. That's just not happening. And I feel like most naturals feel that way too. Definitely detangle from ends to roots. Our next tip would be to know your hair porosity, know your hair density, and know the thickness of your strands, because that's really what helps you know which products will work best for your hair and what application will work best for your hair as well. Whether the LCO method will work better for you versus the LOC method, or just whether you need to use lighter products or heavier products. Personally, my hair is low porosity. I have medium to high density. I think it's somewhere in between there, and then my strands are fine. So milks work good in my hair because they don't weigh my hair down. And I like to do the LCO method, where I use a leave-in, a cream, and then an oil to seal. And that tends to work best for my hair as well. And using warm water to open up my cuticles to allow the moisture to get in, that helps me as well as deep conditioning with heat. that's what I have to do for low porosity hair. I'll link some videos down below that will help you determine your porosity if you don't know it, and your hair density, and then the thickness of your strands as well. But yeah, that's another tip that I think is important. Another tip I would say would be to keep heat to a minimum. I know some people it's very hard for them to not use heat, so that's why I say keep it to a minimum. Everyone knows that heat can be potentially damaging to your hair if you're not using it, you know, appropriately, or if you're using too much of it on your natural hair. So I would say keep it to a minimum. Last year was my first full year natural, and I think I used heat in my hair a total of 3 times. The first attempt was a fail because I didn't know what I was doing. The second time I went to a salon and she did it for me, but she also trimmed too much of my hair because she didn't know how to straighten my type of hair. That's another story. And then I straightened it again at the end of that year myself, which is probably more than likely definitely gonna be how it goes from now on. But yeah, just keep it to a minimum. I'm not saying don't use it at all, but if you're trying to grow your hair out, I would say use it as least as possible. My next tip would be to trim as necessary, and I say this because I know some people trim once a year or twice a year, and people tend to like do that because that's what they see other people doing. I personally don't feel like that's the best way to go about it. I feel like you should pay attention to your hair, like I said before, and your hair tells you when you need to trim. For me, I normally need to trim about every 4 months because my ends will start feeling dry, my curls start to not cooperate, and I get single strand knots. So for me, it's best like if I trim my hair about every 4 months. So it's like 3 times a year, which I trimmed my hair last year 3 times that year. Just make sure you're doing whatever it is that's needed to keep your hair healthy, because if you don't trim your hair as much as you're supposed to, it could have an adverse effect on your length and cause your hair to break up the shaft and cause breakage and your hair end up being shorter than you want it to be in the first place. You always want to make sure that your hair is healthy before focusing more so on length. Health should be your main thing that you focus on rather than your length, because the length will come eventually. My next tip would be not to compare your growth to others. You know, your hair may not grow as fast as this person over here, or your hair may grow faster than this person over here. So I say don't compare yourself to other people because that may leave you feeling down or whatever. Just focus on keeping your hair healthy, because all hair grows. Your hair is growing. Like, unless there's something medically wrong, your hair is growing and it will grow. So you just need to focus on retaining the length that your hair is growing. And if you're retaining your length, at the end of the day, you will end up seeing some growth. Okay, my last tip would be to remember that it's a learning process and be patient. I know we all hate hearing that because I hated hearing it. I still hate hearing it because I'm not where I want to be yet with my hair, but I'm working on that. But it's really true. We really have to be patient. Like, we have to learn our hair. And once we learn our hair and we have a process down packed, we have to implement the process, and eventually our hair will be where we want it to be. So we just have to be patient with our hair. We have to learn to embrace, love, and nurture the hair that we have, and learn to take care of it, because that's what was given to us. And we shouldn't look at anybody else's hair and, you know, compare and say, oh, I wish I had that. We should focus on what we have and, you know, maintain that. Learn ways that you like to style your hair. Learn things that you like to do to your hair. Learn how you like to wear your hair, you know. Focus on that more so than looking at someone else's hair and being like, oh, I wish I had that. Look at yourself and be like, I love what God gave me. So yeah, I hope these tips helped some of you guys. I really do. If you have any other tips you would like to give or leave, then leave those down in the comment section below for other people to see. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.